and welcome to AWS Julie. For today's video, we're continuing with our new series on needed AWS fundamentals to ensure you pass your AWS certification exams. For this lesson, I want to do a high-level overview of Amazon DynamoDB. We will be diving deeper into the AWS database services in other lessons, but for this fundamental series, I wanted to first add fundamentals for the core services in AWS. Amazon DynamoDB is AWS's non-relational database service. Non-relational databases are different from relational databases that we talked in our last lesson. And in that lesson, we talked about how Amazon RDS is a relational database service and uses SQL. DynamoDB uses NoSQL. NoSQL is a term used to describe non-relational database systems that are highly available, scalable, and optimized for high performance. Instead of the relational model, NoSQL databases such as DynamoDB use alternate models for data management such as key value pairs or document storage. But Amazon DynamoDB does support PartyQL, which is an open source SQL compatible query language to query data, regardless of where or in what format it is stored. PartyQL helps to process structured data from relational databases, semi-structured and nested data in open data formats, and even schema-less data in NoSQL or document databases that allow different attributes for different rows. So similar to relational databases, non-relational databases have tables, rows, and so on, but there is not a defined structure or schema. They do not use a tabular schema of rows and columns found in most traditional database systems. Instead, non-relational databases use a storage model that is optimized for the specific requirements of the type of data being stored. There are 4 different types of NoSQL databases: document-oriented databases, which are designed for storing, retrieving, and managing document-oriented information; key value stores, which is a database that uses different keys where each key is associated with only one value in a collection. There's also wide column stores, which use tables, rows, and columns, but unlike a relational database, the names and format of the columns can vary from row to row in the same table. And then we have graph stores, which is a graph database that uses graph structures for queries with nodes, edges, and properties to represent and store data. Amazon DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL database service that provides fast and predictable performance with seamless scalability. DynamoDB also removes that administrative overhead management of operating and scaling a distributed database, so you don't have to worry about the hardware, provisioning, setup, and configuration, replication, software patching, or cluster scaling. DynamoDB also offers encryption at rest to help protect sensitive data. And with DynamoDB, you can create database tables that can store and retrieve any amount of data and serve any level of request traffic. You can scale up or scale down your table's throughput capacity without downtime or performance degradation. And you can monitor your resource utilization and performance metrics. DynamoDB provides on-demand backup capability to create full backups of your tables for long-term retention and archival for regulatory compliance needs. You can create on-demand backups and enable point-in-time recovery for your Amazon DynamoDB tables. Point-in-time recovery helps protect your tables from accidental write or delete operations. Also, with DynamoDB, you can delete expired items from tables automatically to help you reduce the storage usage and the cost of storing data that is no longer relevant. DynamoDB also has an in-memory cache, and that is the DynamoDB Accelerator or DAX. It is designed so there is a DAX client that is usually stored on the application itself. When you read items from DynamoDB, those items are stored inside DAX as well as returned. And then if that item is queried for another read, it is returned from DAX without calling DynamoDB. DAX calls this a cache hit. If a query is not stored in DAX and has to be queried from DynamoDB itself, then DAX calls this a cache miss. But DAX will store this cache mix and then send the information along to the application. DAX is designed for high read heavy workloads, and it has two caches. The item cache is populated with individual results from get items and batch get items. It has a 5-minute default TTL. The query cache is query and scan operations and caching these results on the parameters specified. You may see a question about which caching engine is best for DynamoDB, and that answer is most likely going to be DAX. But let's also talk about Amazon Elasticache. Amazon Elasticache is a web service that makes it easy to set up, manage, and scale a distributed in-memory data store or cache environment in AWS. It provides high-performance, scalable, and a cost-effective caching solution. At the same time, it helps to remove the complexity associated with deploying and managing a distributed cache environment. Elasticache supports two different popular caching engines, Memcached and Redis. So if you have a question on your exam with Memcached or Redis, that answer might be Elasticache. The two common use cases for Elasticache are offloading database reads by caching the response. This improves your application speed and also the cost. Instead of consulting your database each time, you can cache the queries and deliver them faster. Elasticache is also used for storing user session state. Remember in an earlier lesson we talked about fault tolerance. Elasticache also has features to help support your data resiliency and your backup needs. So Elasticache can be used to improve performance and read scalability because requests will hit Elasticache first, and this helps to take a huge load off your database. If you found this content useful, a like and a subscribe would mean a lot to me. It really helps me know what content y'all like, and it gives me an indicator that I'm building useful content. Now in the next lesson, we'll cover another AWS core service, a database service, and that is Amazon Redshift. Thanks so much for watching.